Well, hello racers. I'm sorry that we can't host you this year. It's always hard I miss you every time. But I am here to pour some wine and to release a new wine today to you. So here I have two port style or fortified wines that we made. We made them in 2015 and we made a total of 6 barrels. So we basically, we had 3 bins of grapes come in. 1 bin of Cabernet Sauvignon, 1 of Cabernet Franc, and 1 of Syrah. And basically we treated it as if it was regular wine. So we did the punch downs twice a day. We added yeast, you know, all of the traditional ways to make wine. And what we did was we actually we used our 2012 Cabernet Sauvignon that we turned into wine. It was our first attempt at making house wine. And of course it didn't turn out that well because we were using 2x4s and garbage bins. Sounds crazy. But it was actually lovely. We turned it into, we fortified it. So we brought it to Naramata, to Maple Leaf. We distilled it down and that's what we used to stop the fermentation for this one. So we made 6 barrels total, 2 of which we bottled 3 years, so in 2018, we bottled and released this. This has been in barrel for 3 years. And then just recently, we bottled the barreled 5 years port style. So it's called West, as in the direction that we moved from Montreal. So we moved out west. It's the French spelling of the direction. So I thought it would be really neat to actually release this wine to you guys today. It's not actually released to the public, so this is a pretty special, thing that we're doing here. And what I find really cool about this is that we very shortly are going to have, well, in 2 years, we'll have a 7-year-old. So they were all made in the same vintage. It's the same wine, but one has been living in bottle for 2 years, and one just came into the bottle and was living in the barrel for 5 years. So they're quite different and very unique. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with the 3-year-old. And I'm gonna pour it in here. So basically, when we were about to stop the fermentation with the spirit, we were tasting. We didn't want this to be a sweet fortified wine, as some can often be almost cloying. This was meant to be on the savory side. So I always tell our customers and you guys, for example, that I want this for dessert, but not with a sweet dessert. I want cheese. Give me a cheese platter, give me some Stilton, give me some aged cheddar, you know, all of the more age, the stronger, the better. And dig in. It's beautiful because the alcohol and the tannin, even though it's very soft, it'll cut through the cheese and it'll be a beautiful experience. So actually, when we do taste it for wine club members upstairs, we'll give them a little bit of an aged cheddar to go with it. Okay, that's good. Sorry, I haven't tried this in a little while, so it's kind of fresh for us. And of course, this is sold out, by the way. But we did keep some back so that once we have our 7-year-old, which is going to be in a really pretty crimson color, we'll be able to sell them as a box set. So this 3-year-old is actually quite fresh because it was in the barrel for 3 years. They're neutral barrels, so it doesn't impact that much oak on the wine. But since they were in for longer periods of time, you will get that little bit of vanilla, kind of a toasty flavor on the end, a little bit of butterscotch and caramel. And so the West feels, I've tried, we'll try it next, but the 5-year-old actually has a lot of oak compared, and it's almost evaporated a little bit, so it's condensed, it's stronger, whereas the 3-year-old is a lot more fruit forward, lots of cherry, and not too sweet, so which is huge for us. So it's light, it's 19.2%, but you wouldn't know it. And I guess that's the dangerous part about this wine. Okay, so I'm going to try the other one now. Okay, so we have the 5-year-old. So actually, I should also tell you, we are finishing them different every year. So the West, the 3-year-old, has this little fun little bar top stop. But I'll tell you that getting these on during bottling, we had to mallet them on every single time. So it took us almost 3 hours to bottle 100 cases. So each barrel is 25 cases of still wine. And then for the little bottles, they're half of that, so it's 50 cases per barrel. So 100 cases of each of these only, so very limited. Okay, so right away, I can tell the color on the 5-year-old is a little bit darker, or sorry, not darker, I wanna say more brick colored. So, and that's a sign of age. So it's very pungent is kind of a harsh, or it doesn't sound good, but it's a very intense aroma on this. So it's spicy from the Cab Franc and the Syrah. It's got beautiful like baking spices. And then it's got earthiness as well. So, you know, instead of having that sweet, kind of like a chocolate cake kind of a vibe to it, or a dark cocoa kind of you want something more savory for this. Like, I would almost say, oh, and when we bottled the 3-year-old in barrel, it tasted like wine. It actually was that smooth because we didn't want to over extract tannin, over macerate. We wanted it to be delicate and soft, and I think that we actually we got that, the final product, what we wanted. Yeah, so I wish you could try this right now. It's got this gorgeous mouthfeel, and it's way stronger than the 3-year-old. This even the color is different. So I'm excited to try the 7-year-old in 2 years and see them all side by side, because they're all the same age, made the exact same way, and it's all depending on barrel time. So the longer the wine, the fortified wine, is in the barrel, the smoother it's gonna get because of the oxygen. The longer, the longer it's in the barrel, the softer it will be. So welcome to wine country, and hit me up if you want some of this stuff. Bye.